Hello, hello, good afternoon. We're back. I don't know why it's showing blue. That's not my color. Not sure why it's showing blue. Oh my god, I'm not sure why it's showing blue. Let me. Yeah, my color is clean. Okay. I wasn't sure why it was showing blue. I was like, what? Anyway, we are back. Okay, we wanted to talk about third country removals, everything you need to know to be aware of for concerned individual, so we can be prepared in case something happens. Let's let me let me first of all share my screen, okay? My not my screen, my live station. I'm trying to share it on my other social media. Give me one moment. I need to share it. Okay. Share, copy, save to playlist. Okay, sharing it. By the way, if you have a question, please put it in the comment section so we can answer it. If you have a question, please put it in the comment section. If you have a question, please put it in the comment section. We want to talk about the latest immigration news, but we want to focus on third country removal. Okay. Third country removal. What's happening? As you know, first I want to talk about who is the target. Okay. Then what it entails and how to prepare in case the person is concerned. The target are people with withholding of removal or a convention against torture grant. People who have been granted withholding of removal, convention against torture, or people who are under the order of supervision with previous order of removal. That's the first category. The second category, people who are not detained but with previous order of removal, and people who are not detained with nothing pending, really, or a case pending with USCIS that really lacks merit, and people who are in removal proceedings, lastly, then, you know, with a denied petition, like at the end of the individual hearing, you get a denied petition. Those are the individuals who are subject to third country removal. Okay. And why is that? It's because, when we go to immigration court, we have a type of relief. We ask, let's say, for asylum. Asylum, an alternative, we want withholding of removal or CAT, Convention Against Torture. And let's say asylum is denied and then the person is granted withholding of removal under the Convention Against Torture. What's going to happen is that the US will withhold removal to the country of origin or the country where you claim that you be persecuted. That could be your home country or the country where you last resided. Basically, it's in your application that you don't want to go to this specific country because you'll be tortured or you'll be persecuted or you'll be killed. So the US will withhold removal from those countries, but then they will send you to a different country. Okay. And what's happening when they're sending you to the different country? When they send you to a different country, it's because what they're saying is that, okay, we agree with you. You cannot be removed to your particular country, but we can remove you to the third safe country because they have an agreement with those safe third countries. That's exactly what's happening. Um, Let me tell you a little bit more. Uh, let me tell you a little bit more on this one. Okay. The third country in question will provide the United States with a diplomatic assurance that the deportees will not be persecuted or tortured, and the U.S. Department must deem those assurances credible. That's why they're sending people, because that third safe country will say, oh, here, when they get here, we are not going to torture them. We are not going to deport them. But the government will tell the person where they will send them. Uh, they will serve a written notice of removal that identifies the country, and it should be read to them in a language they understand. Let's say they'll tell you, okay, we're not gonna remove you to your country. However, this is the specific country that we're going to send you because that's a safe third country that has an agreement with the US. Um, okay, if the individual proactively said that they fear persecution in that country, so now what is remember we talked about first the group of individuals that are the target, and now we're talking about what can you possibly do if you fear persecution in that specific country. What's going to happen is you need to say that you are requesting again, um, that they should refer you to a USCIS officer, an asylum officer. Okay, an asylum officer, it doesn't have to be USCIS officer, but an asylum officer who will determine whether or not you have credible fear of that specific country that they want to send you to. The standard is more likely than not you'll be persecuted or tortured in that specific country. And that's how the asylum officer is gonna do a credible fear interview, CFI, credible fear interview. Once you pass it, then um, you're not gonna be sent to that specific country. Okay, then you can stay in America and stuff like that. But if you don't express the fear for that specific country where they're trying to send you, what's gonna happen? They can move you after 24 hours or 6 hours, and they remove you because you did not claim CFI. So that's the thing that's happening. Yeah. So questions before I continue. Questions. Oh yeah, we have questions here. My brother on VAWA. What can we do for a quick renewal? Oh, you can file for expedite, ask for expedite, but you have to have reasons for expedite. I did that with one of my clients, expedite requests with USCIS because the person is had some sickness. Okay, like it was basically she was going under uh, cancer treatment. So we did expedite requests, but we had to use the office of the congressman. So that, and then they give the work permit, like went faster, at least within 30 days. So you need to try expedite request. That's it. Sekou Tower, what are you talking about? We don't see a question here. What is your question? Sekou Tower 52 28. What is the question? Want to know the question so we can answer it. We're still talking about third country removal. Okay. Yeah, if they cannot deport you to your country, then the government would designate a third safe country, okay, where they can deport. And this is really happening with people with withholding of removal, convention against torture, order of supervision, um, previous previously people who have been previously order removed, uh, and so forth. What exactly can you do? You have to claim a CFI, which means a credible fear interview. You have to request it. If you don't want to go to that specific country, you have to request a credible fear interview. Then an asylum officer is going to interview to find out whether or not you pass the screening for that. If you don't pass the screening in 6 hours, 24 hours, then going to send you to that country. And it's really happening to a lot of people, especially Latin America. They're sending people to Mexico, and then they're sending people to some country in Africa as well. You just have to make sure that you move faster. You have to be, first of all, aware of that. Um, Another way you can prevent that from happening too fast is that if you have a hearing in person, try to request, file a motion to change the format of the hearing. That's what I'm doing with other clients. If I feel like this case is weak, and chances are at the end of the hearing, they're gonna just arrest them outside of the court and put them in detention. So to prevent that from happening so fast, before we file for an appeal, what we're doing is requesting, um, filing a motion to change the format of the hearing. So for the hearing to be online instead of in person. But you have to really have good reason to convince the judge, not just because of the fear of the arrest. It could be economic reasons. If let's say you live far away from the court and your lawyer is far away from a court, economic reasons on top of fear or arbitrary arrest outside of the courts while the appeal is pending. Okay. Um, Another reason could be your own. Let's say you have high blood pressure. Chances are it's gonna raise your blood pressure, and you can show documentation to justify the reason why you really want your case to be online instead of in person. And that's one of the way you can prevent that safe third country from happening so fast while you are strategizing and finding ways to combat that. You know what I mean? Um, in some cases, the decision to deport someone to a third country is made after they have been found ineligible for any form of relief that will allow them to stay in the United States. However, in other cases, the government deports people to a third country as an alternative to allowing them to seek asylum or another form of immigration protection in the United States. Safe third country refers to a specific type of agreement under the US law that allows the government to send people to other countries for the substantial purpose of allowing them to seek asylum there. This government has agreement with other countries, so they don't have to accept your asylum here. They can send you to another country so that you can apply for asylum in a different country because they have an agreement with that country. Another way is because you're not eligible. Okay, another way is because withholding of removal is just like technically removal proceedings. It's basically they've ordered you removed, but they are just withholding that. It has been withheld. So therefore, they have the right to send you to a different country. Again, what we're saying here is that you still can request a CFI, credible fear interview, to that specific country where they're trying to send you, because they're going to let you know. And then the asylum officer can determine whether or not, more likely than not, you'll be persecuted or tortured in that specific country. And just know that the CFI, I'm talking about fee, I'm like just calling it in French. But anyway, the CFI is you cannot get the immigration judge to review it. Once the asylum officer has made a determination, that's it. It stops there. And the other way too is to, let's say a person has been granted withholding of removal, and now they're trying to remove them to a third safe country. And if they have good reason to reopen their case, they can file a motion to reopen along with a motion to stay, emergency motion to stay the removal order, so that while they're deciding whether or not their case warrants a reopening, they can stay their removal. That's different strategies. Some work, some do not, because those removal are happening faster. Sometimes the people do not have the resources to fight. That's another problem we encounter. Okay. What else? We have on November 25, the U.S. announced safe third country agreement with the government of Canada, Guatemala, Honduras, Uganda, Belize, and Paraguay. Yeah, they're sending people there. But something about Canada I have to mention here. If you're going to Canada, they have a policy where you really have to have a family member there who's willing to sponsor you, because at the border they're going to ask you a lot of questions. If you don't meet the requirement, then you will be under the arrest and under ICE custody. That has happened to a lot of people. So this is just something to be aware of. If somebody's trying to go to Canada, they have to be aware of that. They have to be aware of, in case something doesn't go their way. Do you meet the bond eligibility requirement? That's something someone has to be aware of. By the way, please like, please share. Please like, please share. If you have a question, okay, please put it in the comment section. If you have a question, please put it in the comment section. We're answering all questions. Let me see if we have another news here. Nineteen countries, that we already know, right? 19 countries, they've stopped processing applications for 19 countries until further notice. That's something we know. What else we have here? The Trump administration is targeting some Somali immigrants. The Supreme Court. It's cool. Yeah, the birth citizenship, the Supreme Court agreed to review Trump order restricting birthright citizenship. So this one too, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Yeah, let me share my screen for this one. Okay, this one. Okay, so the Supreme Court agrees to review Trump order restricting birthright citizenship. The administration asked the justices to uphold an executive order ending birthright citizenship after lower courts ruled it violated the Constitution. So the Supreme Court announced on Friday, that was last Friday, okay, December 5th, that it will hear a landmark dispute over the constitutionality of President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. When are they going to hear that? Let's see. They say the court has not announced the date, not yet, to hear oral argument, but the justice will most likely hear the case in the next few months. A decision will then be expected by end June or early July. That's it. So basically, they will hear the argument, but the decision will know by 2026. It'll end June 2026 or early July 2026. So, but meanwhile, the appeal stands, right? So that's about it. That's a major thing to look into next year. And stop sharing. And we also know that work permits validity has been changed from for 5 years to 18 months for certain categories. C9, for example, C8, asylee, refugee, withholding of removal. So those are the things that we need to know so far. We're here to answer questions as well. If you have a question, just let us know. If you have a question, please let us know. There is a pending case. New AD guideline affected by T. This for I have pending case and I have. Let's see who is affected first of all, right? Let's see who's affected. Yeah, they say any pending case But let's see for sure who's affected, because I know C9. Yeah, it looks like, let me share my screen here. Okay. The validity period of initial work permit and renewal will be changed from 5 years back to 18 months for several categories of alien. Alien admitted as refugee, alien granted asylum, alien granted withholding of deportation, alien with pending application for asylum, alien with pending. First of all, you have to know, because I don't really work with T visas, work permits. It used to be for how long, first of all? Okay. If it was, I think, because VOW is 2 years, so I think T visa should be 2 years as well, I believe. So then doesn't affect them because it's always been 2 years. You have to know, first of all, it has been for how long, because I know VOW is 2 years. Um, but anyway, if it affects you, then it's going to affect cases that are pending or filed on or after December 25th. Okay, even pending cases are affected by that. I need to forward your video to Simplice TV. But Simplice makes his own videos. So I don't think he's gonna do that, because he makes his own videos too. Just share it on your you can share it on your WhatsApp. You can share it on your WhatsApp or on your social media. You can share it on your WhatsApp or on Facebook, IG, on your social media. Yeah, because Simplice TV makes his own videos as well. Okay. I think he does refer people too, because sometimes he does refer people to me for consultation and stuff like that. Okay, what else we have here? Ice raid. Let's talk about ice raid, where it's happening. New Orleans, Louisiana. They're gonna do ice raid over there. Indianapolis as well. Sorry, my sinuses are acting up. Okay. Okay. So if you don't have any more questions, we're gonna end here, right? If you don't have any more question, we are ending here. We talked about safe third country removals. Just to recap, the U.S. government is removing people to the third safe country. Okay, what are those type of individuals that are targeted? People with withholding of removal and convention against torture, CAT, people with previous order of removal, some people with pending application with USCIS that lacks merit, and people who just been order removed, like as of recent history. They're really targeting non-detained individual, and they're targeting as well people with order of supervision. Okay, and the reasoning is that if we cannot send you to your country because of maybe you won withholding of removal, however, we can send you to a third safe country that the U.S. government has agreement with. What exactly can you do under those situations? We have couple ideas or strategies. For someone who's going to report to ICE, once they try to send them, they go there to report because they have been under order of supervision. They try to send you to that country. You have to raise a credible fear interview. Ask for it. Then an asylum officer is going to interview you. And the standard is if more likely than not, you're going to be persecuted where they're trying to send you. Once you pass that credible fear interview, then in some instances, you might have a hearing again with the immigration judge to determine, or you might just stay in the country, right? That will depend. Another strategy is that if your case is pending with the court and your hearing is in person, try to file a motion to change the format of the hearing. And what are the reasons you can raise? Several reasons. Sometimes economic reasons, if the lawyer is in a different state and you're in a different state, economic reason, you cannot really attend. And you are far away from the court, right? Economic reasons, the fear to being detained right after the interview, and if you have some type of sicknesses or, for example, high blood pressure, that can be a valid reason as well. And hopefully they're going to change the format and your hearing is going to be at home. It's much better than going to court and the case gets denied, and after the hearing you get arrested and sent to a third safe country. Some people who have been previously ordered removed, if they have a reason to reopen the case, they can file a motion to reopen along with a motion to stay removal. While the case is the motion to reopen is pending, they can stay removal until they make a decision on the case to a motion to reopen. So those are the strategies, because at least you have some strategies in mind, because what's going to happen is they are moving fast. Once they determine that you're going to send you to another country, they're moving fast. And the Supreme Court already ruled that you really do not have the right at that point in terms of notice. They can give you reasonable notice, but you don't really have like a types of due process type of right. It's not, because you already went to the entire immigration court. Okay, so which makes it really fast, and they're doing it, sending to Mexico. They have several contracts with several countries, Uganda, Belize. We cited some countries here. So, and it's going fast within 24 hours. In some time, and in some emergency, they're sending within 6 hours, 24 hours or 6 hours in exigent circumstances. If you don't express the fear, ICE can remove the person within 24 hours. or after 6 hours. So you have to express the fear so that you can get an interview. You have to tell ICE, I have the fear to go to that country. Then they can request an asylum officer to interview you, credible fear interview. Okay, so that's the solution. Meanwhile, okay, yeah, we already answered this question. I don't know. I don't know how long they back in the day. I believe T visa was for 2 years, right? So it's gonna remain like that. I don't really work with T visa applicants, so I don't know how long they gave them the work permit, because the work permit we cited here, C9, um, C9, C8, withholding of removal, convention against torture. Those are the work permit for pending cases and cases that were applied on anything that you apply on or after December 5th, 2025, including pending cases. It's just changing from 5 years to 18 months. T visa, I don't know how long they used to give, but I'm pretty sure it was 2 years. Because VAWA is 2 years. So, by the way, please like, please share so we can end here. Please like, please share. We're ending here. If you don't have additional questions, we're going to end here. That's what we wanted to talk about today. Thank you.